I'm not selling out.
Hello, this is KRBrickBot, and the Helloka봇mi니 toy line has returned. So, did they make more Legion-sized Carbots that were not formerly Hyundai cars? No. They made the miniature Eggbots. Tirakoong, Trikoong, and Pterakoong. The Helloka봇쿵 dinosaur Eggbots, now more miniature. So, Trikoong and Pterakoong were released in early April, and Tirakoong came a couple of days later. Just in time for Easter? So, it's packaged in this cardboard clamshell packaging, presumably for anti-theft. And yeah, the egg is right in there. And also there's the Egg Carbot logo in the background. Also the little crew, which toys have not been made of as of yet. So this is yellow, orange, green. And instructions recommending at only 10 centimeters when dropping this. And the back has the instructions for transforming it back. So this has been prepared since January of 2020. Okay, now to crack open these eggshells. So here's the egg compared to Bumblebee and a Kinder Joy egg. Eggy fun. So, Mini Tirakoong, as you can imagine, is a near perfect downscaling of the big egg. They both share the same base plastic colors of red and gray, although this one is pretty much stark black. Except, of course, the big Tirakoong has more paint apps. This one has been really budgeted, and only has yellow and a tiny bit of silver. No silver on the arms or the shins or feet whatsoever. Also, it doesn't have its secondary spring-loaded horn gimmick thing. But I guess, take what you can. It still has the same floppy mouth. Although this one's looking much more wide, and also you can really snap his jaw like that. And as you can imagine, the engineering and construction is almost the same, except the body ab crunch and the arms, they're not present on this little thing. All the other joints are still pretty there though. And you can imagine they transform in almost the same way, except this one has the extra upper torso steps. Just fold it up like this. And you got two different sized eggs. This one is not silver at all. So, Tirakoong. So this one doesn't have many silver accents and gold accents that were lost on here, but yeah, this torso has still been skimped out on. Those little gold accents there and there. Also the same colored plastic hinges and not these milky ABS-ish. Also it has a little plume, head spring plume here that this thing lacks. Also no silver eyeliner on this tiny little mouth that's kind of friction in place, so you can leave it closed, partially closed if you want. Tiny little toes and a little belly flap that's not on here. Hinge neck that is only a single hinge here, and unsightly gold quality paint defect. Wings are pretty similar, except it doesn't have these extra flaps. Still has these little flaps though. And its secondary gimmick is the flapping wings, which as you can imagine this one doesn't have, it just has the button. But if you want to simulate that, I suppose you could do this. Just slap the wings on the back. And as you can imagine, they transform pretty much the same way. Except the face has these extra tabs, since it doesn't have these extra tabs for the big one. So you gotta watch out for that. Just make sure to put the wings in first. To put the face in first. Pretty similar gold thunderbolt-like pattern layout. So, Mini Trikoong. As you can see, they both share the same main plastic colors of black and yellow. As with Tirakoong, this is much darker black. But there is not much red and silver. It's only on the top shell. Everything else is pretty plain. At least the head is still looking pretty accurate and downsized. But I think the blaster horns are looking a little disproportionate. These look a little longer. And it does not have that splaying out gimmick. But since that's a very minor gimmick, it's absolutely fine not to have it here, at the cost of having a hollow space for the head. And the tail is not splayed out, so it's kind of like a little seat there. And there are feet, but they're looking a little plain and indistinguishable without those red talon things. Also, these little feet are on these very loose plastic hinges. And the top crest is looking just very shelly without any extra folding bits with like these blasters. They're still molded in there. And to transform this thing, it's kind of a bit different from the main one. For one, you can have a blasting egg. Unlike the big one, which requires these to be folded in to lock it all in. So this is the same orientation, but as you can see, the head is oriented differently because this one folds in the back while this one folds in below. Yep, so this is the front. You can see just how the head orientation is different. So these are pretty decent downsized egg bots that are much more affordable at 8,000 Korean won a pop instead of 20. And also pocket friendly and shipping friendly. Another major selling point is that they're almost perfectly scaled with the 120-ish main Carbot scale. But now that these scale-friendly mini egg bots exist, some of the stickliest of people might ask,
why didn't they make Helloka봇쿵 this size in the first place?
Well, just look at them. You can see this one is much more detailed and slightly more articulate. That is more hinges, just more paint apps, and this is kind of like a budgeted version. So if they initially started with this scale, I imagine that they'll have to bump up the price a lot. Like maybe 15 for this tiny thing instead of 20 for this big thing. So that's just my conjecture, but it's a typical ploy, marketing strategy for companies to make the big popular characters and eventually make little characters. Either for those who will not buy at this price, or just who just like to have it smaller. So if you're still on the fence about the Helloka봇쿵 series, yeah, I think these will suffice, just these smaller ones. Although those initial eBay prices will still probably leave you on the fence. Oh, and I'm sure they'll make more minis of all the egg bots sooner or later down the line.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is KRBrickBot signing off.